G'day guys, my name is Trent, aka LaxLime, bringing you an MPL Week 10 battle. We are up against the Ecruteak Gengars, also known as TheDarkGengar. He is the coach, Daniel. He is a really cool guy, so if you don't know who he is, definitely head over to his channel and check him out. He has had some fairly bad luck in this battle. He's so far 1-9, so he's not had the best wins, but you know what? He's really shown some strength over the last couple of battles, and really putting together some tough teams, and sort of changed his roster around to really bring some tough Pokemon. So I was actually really concerned about battling him, and his team was actually really threatening, and it's sort of a team that I was a bit concerned about trying to take out. I sort of thought I'd have a really good chance here. He doesn't have any hazard removers, so I was just going to use webs and sticky webs and rocks. But we will get into the battle, and we will see how we go. So he actually decides to lead off with his Rachi as I go into the Shuckle to get the sticky webs off. I was really scared that this thing was going to taunt me or something like that, and it's also worst case scenarios because I really need those rocks up to win. So I was sort of scared of the Iron Head flinches or like being frozen or something like that, which totally ends up happening when I get hit by this and the Cress. So Cress has become completely useless. I can't do anything. Cress was meant to be my screen setter, and yeah, that's not going to happen now. So that's a little disappointing. I decided to stay in, try to set up some screens, and then hope that I thaw out. But at this point, he actually brings in his Cosmos, and yeah. He's going to go Mega Evolve, and I am at the point where I am kind of a little bit scared because I don't really have anything to take this out, especially without sticky webs up, because I sort of only worked out how to beat this when I had sticky webs up when I was building the team. So that does a lot of damage. I keep on just going for screens, hopefully getting something up so I can get a good switch in and try to take it out, as he actually goes in for Taunt. So yeah, that sort of puts me in a bit of a predicament because I've only got Shadow Ball on this thing as my coverage hitting move. So it's not going to really do anything, but it doesn't really make a difference now because the next turn, because I don't thaw out, I'm just going to end up going down to the Hyper Voice. So that's like 7 turns in, and I've just completely wasted Cress, and it did absolutely nothing for me. So I'm not really sitting in a really good position. I do go in the Shuckle. I've got the Mental Herb, so I can easily just set up some webs now. This is like priority 1 really for me at the moment. Yeah, so that does super literally nothing at this point. So I get it up. So that makes life a hell of a lot easier later on in the game. Just to be able to take out most of his Pokemon, everything that he has gets affected by that. So I'm happy about that situation. I do make a bit of a play here and go into my Magna Zone, hoping that he doesn't carry anything that's too scary. That would really hurt. But he does end up going for the Taunt again, just to stop me from setting up rocks, I assume. And this is just going to put some offensive pressure onto him to switch out to something. I decided to go Flash Cannon. Overall range, it sort of does the most damage to everything on his team. And you know, Analytic Flash Cannon, this is choice specs. It's nothing to get nothing to be not scared about. It is ridiculous how much damage output this thing can do. I do stay in here as he goes for the Fire Punch. I sort of figured that he'd have it, but I sort of thought that I'd be able to live one and then hope that the next Flash Cannon would sort of put him in a range. I didn't know if it was like a high roll damage or anything like that, but I ended up actually taking him out there with a crit. I don't know if it mattered. It may have. However, he wouldn't have been able to take me out with the next Ice Punch. Fire Punch anyway. So he does go into his Goodra. He always runs an Assault Vest Goodra, which is annoying. They're really difficult to get rid of. This Goodra pretty much won him the last game against all the Miami Dom fans, Ash, because it couldn't kill it. So I just go out to Shuckle here. Basically, I just want to set up some rocks as he goes into the Fire Blast. He always seems to hit moves too, so I was like, oh no, don't hit this Draco. I avoided it, and I was stoked at that moment. I remember screaming out, yay. So I'm able to get some rocks up. So sticky webs and rocks is going to be so beneficial. He eventually is able to take me out with the Draco Meteor at this point, and Shuckle does go down. I do switch in from here. I'll switch into my Lando because it's the only thing that I can offensively pressure this thing with some physical damage. So I go into my Landorus here. I made a pretty big misplay thinking that I wouldn't take as much damage as I did when he was -2. So I actually end up going for the Rock Polish as an attempted sweep on his team. But this Ice Beam, even though I've got the Ice Weakening Berry, still does a significant amount of damage. I know it's like ×4, but it still does so much, and I was really scared at this point that I won't be able to take another Ice Beam. However, safest play for him is to go for Ice Beam, so I can U-turn out of there, and I can just go straight into my Ember, he is screaming for the MVP position. He really, really is. Ember is just going to be able to Flare Blitz, and something is going to die. Something's dying. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, Flare Blitz, Goodra, I'm sorry, but your time in this battle is gone. Goodbye. So that is brilliant. That's one really big threat out of the way. I know that he's probably going to go into his Menifee from here because that is his safest bet. I'm choice banded, so I'll have to switch out after this turn. And sort of the best switch in, I've sort of figured for me. Sorry. The best switch in for me was to go out into, Jesus, who did I go? My Magnezone, sorry. Only just because it's got Thunderbolt, and I don't think he really wants to stick around and take one of them. But he does actually make a double, which I was really, really surprised about. So he made a pretty aggressive play there, and unfortunately, this isn't really good for me because he can go for an Earthquake and just absolutely annihilate the Magnezone. I had to sort of stay in to sack it off. He does have the Brick Break, which completely kills it. He probably was bringing the Brick Break for the screens, which I completely understand because I've used screens quite often in my matches. I can go into Landro. I'm really, really hoping at this point that he isn't Choice Scarf, because if he's Choice Scarf, we have a problem. However, he's not, so I'm able to go for the Earthquake. That does take down the Electivire. Electivire is a pretty big threat actually on his team because it has amazing coverage for pretty much every one of my pokes. So that was actually really, really scary. He does go into the Menifee from here. I really thought this thing was Scarfed, so I was trying to play around it, but it turns out he's not. So I was able to actually get an Earthquake on and put this down into a good range, and then end up just taking a Scald to the face, and Landorus does go down. At this point, I'm going to go into my Latias, who is Scarfed. It took me a long time to make a decision on what move I wanted to go for. He's got 2 Pokemon that resist or have no effect from 2 of my moves. So I had to go for the move that gave me the best damage output on both of the Mons that he remaining, which was the Drapion and the Mega Gardevoir. So Ice Beam was the best bet that I could sort of go for. He does go into the Mega Gardevoir at this point, and yeah, I'm locked into Ice Beam. I'm really, really hoping that he doesn't, I didn't know what he was carrying on the Drapion. I really wasn't sure because, I sort of figured, I feel like he needed to have a Scarfer, and he didn't have a Scarfer. So I was really, really worried because if he did have the Scarfer, it would not be good for me. So yeah, he goes for the Psychic, thinking that I was probably going to switch out into the Ember at that point, but I didn't. I stayed in. So I got the Ice Beam off and put it down into a decent range, and then go down to the Moon, the Hyper Voice. So Ember is pretty much going to be the man that has to clean up this battle, hoping that he will be able to outspeed everything. But Flare, I'm just going to click the Flare Blitz button, and yeah, Mega Gardevoir ain't going to survive that. And then the next Pokemon that he has is the Drapion. So Drapion, whatever. I always forget this thing's name. I really, really do. So it all just comes down to winning this speed. And I sort of figured that he might have Sucker Punch, but he doesn't, and I don't think it would kill anyway. But yeah, he's not Scarf, so I'm able to get the Flare Blitz off, and that means he is going down, and I end up taking the win in this battle. It was a really, really close battle, and he really made me work for it. I was really scared I was going to lose that battle at the start of it when the Mega Gardevoir came out, and sort of it was so threatening. But yeah, really fun battle. Thank you. We take another win, I think, since I've taken over this team or started co-coaching. I've pulled off 5 wins in four wins in a row, so that's pretty good stats, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, share, do all those wonderful things. Make sure you check out Dan's channel as well. His link will be in the description below, as well as his Twitter. And that is all from me. If you would like a chance to battle me, you can also check out my Twitter and just ask me for battles there, because that's sort of the easiest place. Thank you guys for watching again, and I will catch you guys next time.